Hello everyone, this is LEGO's Capital City set. And I think that name is going to throw a lot of people off, so I recommend that you ignore that name completely and just see this for what it is. A city booster super pack. Bunch of people, some vehicles, and some structures. Let's start with one of the structures. This one's already commonly known as the kiosk. It's a place where you can order up some food. They've got some menus showing up above. You can pick up a newspaper, get a couple hot dogs, get yourself some pizza or something, and you can also get tickets to take a sightseeing tour. And they've got the bus included in the set. We'll look at it a little bit later on. This looks pretty nice from most angles. Has a good amount of detail, looks pretty modern. It's still open enough around the back to allow you to get access for a figure or maybe two in there to represent employees. And there's a checkout register over here, or can just be seen as a general use computer that can also have to do with the sightseeing tours and be able to do lookups of reservations and such. And here's a vehicle. 6 studs wide, similar to Speed Champions in some ways, kind of compatible with their size. It represents a sports car here. LEGO has done vehicles like this since before Speed Champions existed, though. This does hold just a single person in there, but the shaping of this is pretty nice. I like the width. I like the kind of low stance, although it does have fairly tall shoulders. It's not too bad. It's a little bit different from some of the stuff they've done before, but not too different. Gives you the longer roof piece in blue in this case, and inside they do have a steering wheel and a printed console. I guess this counts as a structure again, kinda, sorta. They give you a piece of a half pipe there to do some skateboarding on. On one side is a rock climbing wall with some very useful modified 1x2 pieces with the bar sticking out to allow you to very easily attach a figure at many points along the way. They even have a grinding rail up at the top that can be used for either purpose. And on the other side, they've got just a single basketball hoop. It's one of the big ones. It comes with a single basketball as well. And there's no decoration here, no stickers. They've left the stickers for lots of other things in this set. Oh, except for the skateboard itself. That gets 2 stickers, and those are new. So if you like to collect LEGO's skateboard, different types of decorations, this is something new for you. How about a twofer? A structure of sorts and a vehicle of sorts. Again, it's supposed to be an electric vehicle, a very small electric car, kind of a Smart 4.2 style of thing, but fully electric, and that's a charging station on the side. So the idea is that you would plug this right here into the front of the vehicle, and that's the charging port on it. That's why it has that funny little nub on the front of it. And the car is very basic, but honestly it's more interesting and better developed than most of the cars in LEGO's past have been. So all things considered, it's actually not half bad. It even has opening doors, which are good, and obviously you're gonna remove the roof to get a single figure in there. No big deal there, but just a couple small things that do add some value and have some use for minifigures for sure. Technically, the car actually has a trunk even, so you can put a couple of briefcases back there. Now here we have a telehandler looking thing, but it's been built with an extendable crane boom, and this is intended to be used with one of the structures that I will show you next to actually do some construction work on it. This looks pretty good around the front and sides, but when you get to the back, you have all of the very visible mechanism back there. Now I'm torn, as I usually am with these things, because on the one hand, it's really cool to be able to see mechanisms actually working, to be able to see gears turning, and to see the result of a change of motion and application of force. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's at the very least a good educational tool for kids to remind them of what's going on, and it can be very fun to look at that. For folks who want stuff to look more realistic, maybe the older crowd, not so cool. But this is a toy for kids, so I think they've made the right choice here, personally, for this set, for this type of set. The boom can be extended quite a bit, but you need to winch out. That's good. They give you plenty of actual line in there. Now this will extend out. Look at this. Keeps going. I want to see how far this will actually go. before it runs out. I think that's about it. Yep, that's right about the maximum. And then elevating the boom, it goes up pretty far before it starts to be lined up behind the front axle. So yeah, a very useful thing for sure for, you know, really getting in there and playing actively with things. And even the operator's cabin area is a little bit nicer than it needs to be, because it has not only a steering wheel there, but also a control lever for dealing with the crane movements. Okay, so the thing in this set that they want you to be able to build with that mobile crane converted telehandler thing is the world's saddest ever work in progress museum. I mean, this thing already has its signage up, but there's nothing inside. They give you the option to hook up right up here on the roof to a couple of different roof sections, and that didn't work. It was supposed to pull off right there. You know, the idea is that, yeah, see, this is not working well at all. It's kind of flimsy and doesn't come apart where you want it to. You've got a roof section here that you can place up there, although you do have to hang the sign. See, that's not coming off where it's supposed to either. That's all weird. You've got a roof section over here that you're supposed to be able to place there. Well, can't really pull it up from here. Again, you can start with it on the ground, bring it up to here, and then you're good. You can also remove one of those roof sections to bring in an exhibit. Oh, they do actually have an exhibit for this museum. And yes, I am being a little bit cynical here, because this is not a good museum. It's a very sad excuse for a museum. They have one ancient man, prehistoric man, maybe prehistoric, maybe not quite prehistoric. Yeah, it should be prehistoric man exhibit. You know, it looks like a little natural history museum installation, and you can pick this up with the crane as well and try to set it inside. This has just a huge sticker in the background, which is kind of nice, and a small sticker up at the front with the information panel. This of course counts as a minifigure, but it's intended to be just a display thing. But yeah, the idea is that you would be putting this into the museum. It's not, get this, doesn't fit through the top. No, with the sign on there. So you end up having to bring this in from the back, so you really have to hold on to it with your hands. You can get it close, but you can't properly drop it in there. Just nothing about this is working right. The idea is that you want to put it there, and then you have a completed museum, at least the front of a museum. And yeah, then you can use all the parts that don't come with this set that you have in your own collection to build the rest of the museum. This thing is disappointing to me. I like the stickers. I like that one installation, actually. That's pretty cool. But beyond that, the whole construction angle doesn't really work. And this doesn't really add that much value to a little city scene. This adds value, though. Oh, how this adds value. It's a little tuk-tuk is what they call it. And it's aping a Piaggio Ape, one of the most produced vehicles of all time. Bright colors on this one, with the fire yellowish orange or orangish yellow color, and the dark azure, very high contrast color scheme. A lot of detail on the back too. I mean, you can actually serve up a lot of different desserts with different colors, flavors of scoops. You know, they give you a nice palette of things. You have the opening freezer there that represents a stack of ice cream cones. There's actually one additional cone who's with one of the figures right now. Might as well show that. Where is it? Ah, there we go. It's the police officer here who has another one. So yeah, they give you plenty of stuff to actually serve up. That's great to have the options there. I think the vehicle itself looks really cool. It's a little bit empty and open in this center section, just there on the underside, but the front of it, the cab section, is great. I don't know why that's separated out just a little bit there, but yeah, I like this. It's just very, very positive, very happy, and a style of vehicle that LEGO doesn't do very frequently. And it's a good use of space and a good use of its parts count, I think. You can actually rotate that umbrella out if you want to get it out of the way a little bit. Probably more useful to rotate it in, but you can also reorient the connection point there if you want it to angle back, or take it off completely as a separate little thing. But yeah, this is nice. I like this very much. And of course you can take the roof off to get easy access to the driving compartment, which just holds a single figure, of course, and has a steering wheel at the front, and that's just that. These are traffic barricades. Yay! They have stickers on them. Cool. Yeah, these look fine, and they do their job. Let's move on. Here's a police motorcycle, and it uses the fairing style that they've had the longest, I think, in use continuously now. So you've seen a lot of police motorcycles made like this if you've been following Lego for a while. This looks perfectly fine though. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with it. They've just done these a bunch of times before. I think it's perfectly fine for them to do it again. It's a good way to get some police vehicle presence in this to allow for like a chase scene against the sports car, you know, without adding to the parts count to create a more complex police vehicle. So I'm perfectly fine with the inclusion of this. Aha! So finally we get to the big, most substantial structure in the set, the hotel. Hopefully this is going to be a little bit more useful and a little bit more complete than the museum. Spoiler alert, it is. This is built on a 16 by 16 plate, so it's half the width and depth of a modular building, and I mean all that space is pretty well used up, so this is indeed rather substantial. I like the look of this from the outside. I really like the flower boxes they have down there. I like the round awning section out front, a little bit of red carpet. This is a rotating door, so you can actually put a figure in there. It's a little bit difficult to get a figure in there in a way that will actually fit. You have to put them sideways or put them all the way in there. Not the best idea with these half-cylinder pieces, in my opinion, but it does look nice from the outside. Hotel sign has 3 stickers, you know, one on either side, and then the one on the end. It's just a 1 by 2 by 5 brick single piece there, so they can do that. And yeah, pretty nice detailing. You even have an upper level. We'll look at that in just a second. Looking at the interior, you know, it's completely open on the sides and around the back. This is the reception desk here with just a, you know, basic desk. You know, nothing fancy there. The simplest of waiting areas, at least it does have a little coffee table to go with that single seat. Looks a little bit lonely. Couldn't they have included 2 seats there? I guess you can grab a seat from something else in the set, but yeah, just having 1 seat just feels weird to me. Yeah, the desk is just fine, and then you come up here and you actually have a couple of rooms. Not just 1 room, but a couple of rooms. Now, you know, they're limited on space, so they don't have things like doors and an elevator to access the space and everything, but they have the 2 rooms. I'm satisfied with this, to be honest with you. I think that this does the job that it needed to do. It's definitely very plain looking on the walls. See a little bit of Technic stuff around there, but you know, this one has the larger bed and then this one has the smaller bed. And ultimately you can only fit a single minifigure on each, but it gets the idea across of being a hotel, you know, a place where multiple people can rent space to put their heads down, you know, and get some rest. So yeah, I'm okay with this. And then they have this rooftop leisure area, which is a very good use of the space rather than just leaving it as a plain roof. This makes so much more sense and is just so much more playable and displayable. Just everything about it is better than just a plain roof with maybe, you know, a little air conditioning unit up there or something. You know, this is an actual destination. Put somebody in there, that's a rooftop pool, who will be swimming around, and you can also have somebody who's just lounging around and in this nice lounge chair. And this is either fake grass or it could even be, you know, representing real grass that's actually maintained up there. So I think that's good stuff. And overall, this whole thing looks more than good enough, and you know, from top to bottom, and has good play value. You know, the figures will integrate with it sensibly, I think. That brings us to the biggest vehicle in the set, this open-top sightseeing tour bus. Now, interesting thing about the stickers here, this has most of the stickers in the set actually, but you may be aware that LEGO has an internal rule where designers cannot require that any sticker go across multiple pieces. So any single sticker has to go onto a single piece. You can't have parts that are joined by a sticker because that's very annoying and limits rebuilding possibilities. Well, this on either side has stickers, well, multiple stickers across a single piece. So this is one long, 1 by whatever that is, 16 or something, brick, and it has 2 stickers on it because it needed to be really long, and they broke that up into 2 stickers so it would be easier to put it on. You have less difficulty and less risk of everything going horribly wrong if you're not patient enough with that. This looks pretty good from the outside. I like the sticker for the advertisement of the museum, or the coming museum, I guess. This does have a door. That's very important. I'm so glad it has a door that actually opens. Might not be the most realistic of doors for a bus, but hey, it opens and you can actually have a figure coming up, to the step right there. They can't really walk all the way in, but the driver strangely sits in the middle. Would have been nicer if the driver was a little bit offset to the left. The driver gets a steering wheel there, and they have one of those printed console. Whoa, terrible focus, sorry. One of those printed console pieces in there. To let you see the interior, though, I really need to first show you the top, and then I'll take the top off. So here's the top. It has seating for 3 people at the back, 1 up at the front. And there's a bunch of open space here. No seats there because they want to allow you to, or encourage you to place figures standing up, looking over the edges, taking pictures and such. So just as an example, this guy here would be standing on the edge, when the thing is traveling at a slow, safe speed. So that's what that's all about. Feels like they cheaped out on including seats. Would have been nice to have the extra seats. So if you have too many, you want to make space, just remove one and give it to the hotel waiting area or something. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but at least it holds more than like 2 people, like a lot of large Lego vehicles tend to do, which is very awkward. And then, yeah, this all just lifts off here, which honestly doesn't give you that great of access to the interior. There's 1 seat at the back, and then there's a table section, so you can have people seated in there and actually having a beverage or 2, facing each other. It's a little bit cramped to get your fingers in there to get access to that, but that was done to keep this from being too fragile. They don't want to make it so that a kid grabbing this will collapse it, especially when the top is on. If they didn't have some sort of cross members in there, even with the top on, you could just grab this from the side and it would be able to collapse in. So compromises had to be made. It's too bad that they do kind of limit you here. And up at the front, that comes off as well to allow you to get the driver figure in there, but that's about that. Not the best design for the interior there, not the best design for the top, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. Could have been much worse. And it looks good, at the very least. Did I show it kind of from the back? Here's what it looks like kind of from the back, in case you're wondering. The last things I have to show you before moving on to the figures are a construction zone sign, wheelbarrow with a couple tools. So they've got a jackhammer and a crowbar there. And then this is a mic stand with a microphone for a street singer or performer. And here on the left is the street singer or performer, who happens to be me. This is a very, very inaccurate figure, obviously, because I've never worn a scarf in my life. Although, now that I think about it, if I did wear a scarf, it would be the one from Jay from the Ninjago movie. So maybe accurate fantasy here. In the center is the skateboarder dude. On the right is the tourist. None of these have prints on the legs. I think that's fine. The prints for the torsos look good. They're just very, very generic, stuff that's usable for all sorts of different characters, which is great. You already know that I don't have an alternate face. I only have one face, so that's just that. Nothing else to see. Let's move on to the next figures. But what about the torso print? Here's a bus driver, bellhop, and a cop. Bellhop's new. It's just a torso print, but it's cool to get. Has the nice white gloves on there. Nothing new as far as I can tell for the police woman torso. unnecessarily gender-specific torso there. I think the generic ones work just fine. I think nothing new for this print on the left either, although I personally don't recognize that print on the back. But the center torso there, again, very nice. Something different and unique. I'm glad to get that, and hopefully we'll see that used again in the future at some point. Here we have a sporty lady and a couple of construction workers. See, the female construction worker does just fine with a generic torso print. I actually like this torso print here because that could be used to represent anybody who has a thin or athletic build. So good on them for providing a little bit of extra, diversity there of different shapes without forcing it to be a certain type of person. I also really like these dual molded hair pieces with the headgear as well. Different colors of hair there. No alternate faces here once again, but 3 good, useful, generic enough figures. Look at that, 3 more just regular people to have around town. They could be checking into or out of the hotel. At least the ones on the outside, the 2 women here I think could be looking pretty appropriate on the tour bus. I don't know about the guy, he might be a little bit too business attired there. Too bad there's just a little bit of mess up on the print on this one here on the side. It's just not properly registered. It's like a little bit smudged. But yeah, 3 just regular people who look good. Also, the figure on the right could be used as the ice cream vendor. I think that's what Lego itself suggests. You get an alternate face for at least 1 figure in this set. And last up, this is the new variant of Caveman with his dark brown colored spear there. I do think this one looks pretty good. Would have benefited from an additional print on the legs, but it's not bad like this at all. Nice to get that hairpiece. Again, the print around the back of the torso I think I like even better than what they did on the front. He's supposed to be in relatively cooler weather areas, so he's fully bundled up. And beneath there, he doesn't have much facial hair if you take all that beard off. He does have one additional purpose in this set, though, other than just being on display at the museum. He gets to show you one accessory I forgot to show you. The motorcycle helmet for the police woman, because she comes with the hair. So, hey, great to have hair as well as a helmet. Whew. So, that's a lot of stuff. That brings me to the big question. Is it worth the price? And this is where lots of people run to the comments, or they don't even need to run to the comments because they already have commented. This is garbage. This is not worth it. Absolutely not. I can understand that if there's a lot of stuff here that you just personally don't want, but not everybody has the exact same taste. So to try to keep just a little bit of objectivity for just a moment before returning to just pure subjective thoughts, I went through a thought experiment before starting this closing segment of the video. I looked at each of these major builds, or groups of builds like these together, this as a thing, this as a thing with a couple figures, this as a thing, thinking of each of those as its own set. And I tried to put realistic prices, realistic market prices, not what I want to pay for them, not saying, oh, I want that to be $5, I want that to be $5, realistically pricing things out in my mind based on how I think they would appear on the market from Lego, based on how Lego has priced similar things in recent years. And I added it all up, and it came to just under $160 US. I was not targeting anything in particular. I was not trying to use overinflated prices to make something that sounds good or looks good. I'm clearly not trying to defend Lego. I'm not paid by them. I don't owe them anything. I really enjoy their toys, but this is a review, and I just wanted to go through an experiment, see what these things ought to be priced at individually, and thus what they should be priced at as one thing. And I actually think that they are selling this at a little bit of a bulk discount on the market. That does not mean that this is going to be worth its actual retail price for everyone. Matter of fact, for a lot of people, it won't be worth it. For me, personally, thinking from the perspective of a consumer, it's not worth it because this doesn't give me a single major scene. This gives me a lot of little stuff that is rather disjointed. These things don't really go together that well. I mean, they even had to put this at a dead end to try to make it work a little bit better for this perfectly posed picture here. Where's the park? Where's the foliage? Where are the trees? There are no park benches or anything to kind of get some of this stuff into it. That's nice. That's pretty good, just as it is. This is pretty cool. The vehicles are pretty good. That construction site, as I said already, is very sad. Very, very sad. That feels like filler to me, and not good filler. I would have preferred a few trees instead of that. But yeah, this is just a very difficult set to sell itself to discerning Lego fans. I think that a lot of people would not want all of this stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff here that people interested in anything in this set would not want. Like, I think that a lot of people will like this. Probably a lot of people will like this. Some folks will like that. Some folks will like that. Probably very few people will like this. Some will like this. But the number of people who want all of this stuff and want to pay the full retail price to get all of this stuff is definitely going to be limited. That does not mean that this is a garbage set. That does not mean that Lego is, has gone hyper greedy and is just trying to kill Lego fandom the world over by just overpricing everything. I think the target market for this set, realistically, is a whole lot of grandparents and aunts and uncles and family friends who want to get a big old Lego play set, a big old gift set for a set of siblings in an extended portion of a family. I don't see a lot of parents buying this for their kids unless they just kind of don't know what to do. This is a big old grab bag of so many things. I don't see a lot of kids asking for this set for any reason other than the fact that it comes in a big box and has a lot of stuff. But again, discerning fans of all ages, I think, will have their favorite items from this, and then they'll have things that they're not that interested in. So ultimately, this is the expensive gift basket of Lego City sets for 2018. That's enough rambling from me, though. Hope you enjoyed this look at everything. Hope that I showed you everything that you wanted to see here, at least to help you to make your own decision about this set. I'm going to keep working. I'll talk to you again as soon as I can.